Hi fam, you're welcome to my tutorial again today. In this tutorial, we'll be treating this beautiful top that you can see on the screen. Without wasting much of our time, let's delve into it. Here we have the shoulder line, the bust line, the waist, and the blouse length. So I'll go ahead and explain to you how this is done. That's the shoulder line. As you can see, that's the bust level where you will also start your bust measurement taking. So after that, we have the waist and the blouse length. So here I'm going to go ahead and measure the bust measurement. Bust measurement divided by 4, then you take your measurements along this pattern. As you can see, don't worry about the measurements, it's from a miniature form as my pattern paper was not very much enough. So I took my bust measurement divided by 4, I marked it and I squared it just as you can see on the screen. So I went ahead to take my bust level. So my bust level is along that line, then I took my bust to bust. Anything you have as your bust to bust measurement, divide it by 2 and you mark. That is what I'm doing right now. So I will mark. Watch carefully and you will understand. Aside what I'm saying, just watch and you'll understand perfectly what is going on. So right here on the waist, I'm going to mark also the bust to bust and take ½ inch on both sides. So when you take ½ inch on both sides, this will be connected to the bust point, not exactly at the bust point, but it will be dropped by about 5/8 inches or thereabout, or 1 inch at most from the bust point, just as I did. Then you connect the dart leg to this new point marked under the bust. So that's what I'm doing right now. As you can see, that forms our dart, our first dart leg. We'll also, yes, I'm marking it very well. So after this, I'll go on and mark the shoulder. I'm marking the shoulder on the shoulder line, which is shoulder measurement divided by 2. I'm also marking the across chest. As you can see, across chest is at level 5 from that shoulder line. Then you mark across chest divided by 2 also. That is what you're going to mark. But in case you don't have this measurement specifically, you can enter by 1 inch from where the shoulder is and mark the across chest. So here I'm marking my neck. Basic neck is 3 by 3. Don't bother about my measurements here as it's a miniature form. 3 by 3 or at most 3.5 by 3.5, depending on how big or the size of your client. So here I'm using my armhole curve to mark this. It's a bit difficult because of the measurements, because it's from a miniature form. So I used my hand to do that properly. So after that, I'm squaring down my shoulder line, as you can see. Then I'm doing my shoulder slope, which is 1 inch dropping. Connect this to the neckline, just as I am doing. When you connect to the neckline, we'll now use our armhole curve to draw the armhole. Armhole measurement divided by 2, that is what you're going to draw here. Touch the shoulder tip across chest and then back to the bust line by the side there to mark your armhole. Armhole is measured at the uppermost part of the arm where the hand joins the body. So whatever you get, you add 2 to it. That forms your armhole. If you get 16, that means your armhole is 18. So that measurement, you divide it by 2, and that is what I am marking right now. And that is how to mark it. Touch shoulder, touch across chest, and then connect to the bust by the side. Okay, so right now we are going to go ahead with the pattern. As you can see, we are really progressing well with the pattern. This is coming out very beautiful, as you can see. Okay, this is nice. We still have our side bust dart to make, and also we have our dart to complete. So right now I'm marking the side bust dart. Side bust dart is the difference between the front and back half length. So when you mark that side bust dart, you connect this to the bust point just as I did. Okay, that's beautiful. Right now we are going to complete our dart leg. Bring it down, mark, usually 4.5 for human. You measure your bust to bust and make sure that is exactly where it is on the dart leg we are about to complete. So connect the dart to this point. So that's what we have there. Beautiful. So as you can see, we are almost getting done. You can curve the hem of your top if you like, but I don't want to, because even on the pattern, on the style rather, that we are about to make is not curved, it's actually straight. So I'll go ahead and use it like that, but if you want it curved, you can go ahead and do that. Right now I'm going to confirm the waist measurements. So that is waist plus 1 inch dart allowance. So anything your waist is, divide by 4 and add 1 inch dart allowance. Now connect this to the side bust just as I'm doing, and connect it back to the blouse hip. This is beautiful. I'm also going to bring it out small on that side bust dart, so that when the dart is closed, we won't fall short of fabric there. It's better is excess and you blend than falling short of fabric. So that is what I have there. So right now I've placed this on the paper, on a fresh paper, so that I can get my back pattern. Watch carefully what I'm doing right here. I'm going to do some modifications to be able to do this back pattern. Is an easy way and also a lovely process. So here I'm going to mark the waist. I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches, or by any difference you have between front and back half length. So come up by that and mark both on the center and by the side, just as I am doing. Watch carefully. Great. So we are also going to draw this and connect it just as I am doing, but you're not going to get to the length of the top. Also shorten the top by the same amount you came up by on the waist. Okay, that's perfect. So we continue with the tracing. We'll continue with the tracing. Beautiful. So we'll continue with the tracing. Just watch carefully. I'll connect this to the waist, the new waist that we formed. Don't connect to the front waist, but to the new waist that we formed. I've gone ahead to write W there. Okay, so just be careful. Make sure you pin it down. So here we have that point. We will not be observing the side bust dart because this is the back pattern. It doesn't have a side bust. There is no bust dart on the back pattern. So right here I'm going to go ahead and drop the neck. It's disturbing, but that's fine. So I'm trying to get my shoulder line so that I'll be able to drop this back neck appropriately. So that's what I'm doing there. I've dropped the back neck and I've gone ahead to complete the trace. I'll also connect this to the neckline. In regular pattern, you will be using your armhole curve to do this neck curve. So at this point, I will lift the front pattern. Okay, then we'll finish up our manipulation of the back. Now I'm drawing my waistline and also the blouse length. Great. Good. And the blouse length. So I'll go ahead and connect this to my waist just as I'm doing. Watch carefully and you will understand. So right now I'm going ahead to confirm my waist measurements. So that will be the waist divided by 4. Whatever you get, you add 1 inch to it, then you mark. It's good to reconfirm this because this is a traced pattern. I'm not doing any back tightening here because this is not a fitted top, so I won't be doing any back tightening. So go ahead and mark and then connect as I'm doing right now. Connect back to the blouse length. Okay, this is beautiful. Note that this pattern is without any allowance, is exact measurement. So because of how free the top is, at the end of this pattern making, you'll be adding 1/2 inch, 1 inch, depending on how free you want this top to be. So I'm marking my dart, which is the middle of the waist, and I'm taking 1/2 inch on both sides of the dart. So here is where my armhole ends, and I won't want my dart to pass there. It will actually be 1 inch below that level of my armhole, that level, yes, just as I'm pointing. So I'll be dropping it by 1 inch or by 5/8 inch. So also be sure that is at the middle, where the middle of the dart is, and connect. This is how to get a perfect dart. I didn't take it to that armhole because it will misshape the pattern. So I've connected the dart leg, beautiful. So I'll go ahead and complete this dart at once. Okay, also make sure it's at the middle, then we'll be connecting this to the dart. Beautiful. That's fine. So right here, we will go ahead and do something about this. Note that the zip allowance, there is no zip on this pattern, but we'll go ahead and drop for the loop and for the little slits that we have at that point at the back. Our loop will be here. Okay, just watch carefully. So this is my back pattern, and I've already started cutting it out. Okay, this is our back pattern, but before we continue, we'll mark. Yes, across back is wider than across chest. So at this level of across chest, I came out by 1/2, and I've connected this to the shoulder, just as you can see. So this represents the across back. This represents the across back. I've cut it out. As you can see, this is the front and the back pattern set. I'll go ahead and manipulate the front now. Watch the slash line that I drew from the neck to the side bust point. Yes, see the bust point? I drew a line from the neck to the bust point. So I'll go ahead and slash this line and then close the side. That just watch closely and you will understand. This will open up that slash line on the neck and give us space for the pleats that we'll use to form the pleats on the neck. Just watch closely. I'm slashing it open right now. Great, and I'll be closing the side. That's beautiful. So that is how to do this. I'll go ahead and pin, but if you have masking tape, you can use it and tape this down. So I'm going ahead to pin down with my office pin. Okay, this is nice. I will introduce a brown paper on that neck so that you see very well what I am doing. So see the space there. So nice. I hope you understand what I am doing. That space there will now form the pleat on the neck as we progress. This is beautiful. This is fine. But if you want more pleats, you can slash further and spread again. But I feel this is enough to give us the style that we want. But just in case you need more, you can draw another slash line and spread this further. from the neck to the armhole side. That's exactly where you will slash that. So I'm going ahead to trace this new front pattern, and I'm connecting just as shown. I'm leaving an excess there so that when we pleat we won't fall short of fabric. It's better it is more than you blend. So I've gone ahead to trace these so that you see very clearly the size of the darts. So this is what we have. We'll be measuring these darts so that you know exactly the amount of pleat you will take in. I'm just trying to blend that, bust that there. That's what I'm trying to do right here, just to blend it beautifully. Okay, that's the excess. It's always better than falling short of fabric. So right here I'll go ahead and pleat, but make sure that the pleat you are taking is the size of the dart formed on that neck. Don't take pleat that is more than that, it will make the neck smaller. So take exact amount of dart that is formed on the neck. So we are going to make a duplicate of this pattern, and then you will see how we'll be forming this neck. So this is what I have now. I've made a duplicate of this pattern, and I'll go ahead to form the pleats needed. So I'm measuring the darts now to know exactly the amount of pleats that I'm going to take on the new pattern. Just watch carefully and closely and you will understand. So right here I'm forming the pleats. Try and divide it appropriately. If you have, assuming 4 inches, and you want to take 2 pleats, for instance, you will know that the 4 inches formed on the neck, you will divide it by 2, which will give you 2 inches. And that means each pleat will take 2 inches. If it's 3 pleats, you will also divide the darts, amount of dart formed, by 3, so that you know the size of each pleat. Please, this is very important. I've pleated and I'll go ahead and blend. Watch me use a marker to first of all mark out and blend that spot, and then I'll be using my scissors to cut it out. So this is what we have. Beautiful, already forming the style that we have in mind. So I'll go ahead and cut out my neck. The collar is gotten by measuring the front and back neck and then multiplying it by 2 so that you get those pleats on the neck. So that is how I got mine. Note that all these patterns are on fold. All these patterns are on fold and there are no ease. So you put it ease, not sewing allowance, ease based on how free you want this top to be on your body. So after the ease, you will also add your sewing allowance. This is what we have for the back. I've gone ahead to put the loop, as you can see. So this is what you have for the back, and this is the front. Know that this split will go round front and back. This means after joining the front and the back of the shoulder, you now add the pleated neck. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, guys, and also like if you really enjoyed this video. Love you all, guys, and see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.